Thanks, Rich. Another call to the bullpen brought to you by Sprint PCS.
And the new pitcher is from the Akron Arrows, and that is Fernando Cabrera, who has that 8-3 record with a 2.85 ERA, a 6'4", 170-pound right-hander, 21 years of age, out of Puerto Rico. He was a 10th round draft pick by the Cleveland Indians in June 1999.
Glenn Conticallo, Dan Lovallo, Rich Coppola, live from New Britain Stadium here in New Britain, Connecticut, the 2003 Eastern League All-Star Game.
And Glenn, we are part of the record crowd, as you see, 7,168. That is the largest crowd to ever watch a baseball game at New Britain Stadium. How do you like that?
Wow, they really squeezed them in here, and I think the fans are definitely getting their money's worth. It's 5-3. Seen some nice offense. Kevin Youkilis, 1 for 3 tonight.
Don't you think he holds his bat like a right-handed Carl Yastrzemski?
A little bit. There's a hot liner to third. Leaping is Coffey to make the grab.
Coffey's had a busy night. He's played the entire game at third base, and there's a reason why they call playing third base the hot corner. That was well struck as Youkilis takes a fastball and rips it. Nice leap by Coffey at third base, and there you get another look at it from the first base angle.
Jeremy Owens now will bat. Owens in the third position in the batting order, replacing Josh Rabe. And
Owens is with the Portland Sea Dogs, and the Red Sox are very high on him. He was originally with the San Diego Padres organization.
There's a fly to right, but the right fielder Hall is right there to make the grab for the out.
Noah Hall is another ball player who has played the entire game tonight. You know, it was good to see in the big league All-Star game last night, Glenn, a lot of players playing most of the game. Garrett Anderson, for example, got 4 at-bats in the game.
Well, it was managed differently by Mike Scioscia, and well, I'm not saying he outmanaged, but I'm just saying he managed the game really to perfection, the way he lined up his pinch hitters late.
And let me tell you, when you're making a pitching change in the 5th inning of an All-Star game, then you know that the manager means business.
Yeah.
You know home field advantage is at stake.
John Ford Griffin is the batter.
You know, I was sitting with Jim Rance, who's the director of scouting for the Minnesota Twins and who was in town for this All-Star game, and it was Eddie Guardado from the Minnesota Twins who was brought in by manager Mike Scioscia. And Eddie got hit a little bit, but the American League rallied for the victory. Jim Rance is an interesting story. He has helped to build the Minnesota organization. He has been with the organization since 1961, as you get a look at Fernando Cabrera. And he was the one responsible for signing Kirby Puckett. And Rance, who is probably seated behind home plate with a lot of the scouts tonight, Rance happened to go watch his son play a baseball game, Glenn, and noticed this outfielder on the other team named Puckett. Oh. And the rest is history.
Wow. As Griffin will take the walk with 2 down. Terry Tiffy, who also has gone the whole way to this point, will step in.
The Indians are hoping that man Cabrera will someday be pitching at the big league level. He is the number 22 prospect among the top 30 in the Indians organization, and he'll work to this switch hitter, Terry Tiffy.
Well, he's second in the league with 92 strikeouts. Told me yesterday his best pitch is his fastball that has been clocked between 92 to 95 miles per hour. Does have a slider and a split, but does say his fastball is his best pitch. Comes in 6th in the Eastern League with the 2.85 ERA.
Well, if he can master that splitter, and he's working on doing that, to go along with that fastball, the Indians envision him as a closer someday. He has been used as a starter, but maybe Cabrera will be a closer someday as Cleveland continues to build its organization with a lot of top prospects.
1-1 pitch is Slap to center, going back is Jeremy Ware, and he makes the grab for the out. And that retires a side, a walk a man left. We have played 7 here in New Britain, Connecticut. The Northern Division leads it.
MSG delivers New York sports news on MSG Sports Desk. Scores, highlights, and exclusives, focusing on the teams and stories that matter most to our town. MSG Sports Desk, presented by Toyota. Tonight only on MSG Network. This is our town. Friday on MSG, Give Me Liberty. Don't miss Tari Phillips, Vicki Johnson, and the rest of Lady Liberty as they take on Dawn Staley and the Charlotte Sting from the Garden. The Liberty and the Sting. Friday night only on MSG Network.
For 40 years, 2 men have called the shots at Shea. These living legends have garnered plaudits, plates, and plaques, and now the highest of honors, their own bobble. They grace the booths. Now Ralph and Bob will bobble for you. On Sunday, July 27th, the first 35,000 adults 13 and over will grab a double bobble courtesy of Toyota. For tickets, call 718-507-TIXX or log on to Mets.com.
New York sports teams. Talk. Opinions. News. Exclusives. With timely, opinionated, insightful coverage, MSG Network delivers 24/7, just like New York. MSG, the ultimate destination for New York sports fans. This is our town.
The New Britain Rockets ownership group is led by Bill Dowling and Colin Levy. Since taking over, the franchise has been on the upswing. But Levy says share the credit with his young staff.
I think the great thing that we have is we have a tremendous young staff, and they understand what's going out there, okay? And they relate to the young people. And they've come up with programs that Bill and I have looked at each other and we said, I don't know, but it's been good so far, and they pull it off, and we've got more mascots than anybody else, and we have more exciting events and come up with different things, and our whole formula is fun for the family.
Well, folks that come out here to New Britain, as you heard Coleman say, it's all about the families, and Dan and I and Rich want to express our thanks to the entire New Britain Rockcats staff. What a job they have done, not only putting this event on, but working with our crew. And at least from this point of view, Dan, you and I have been treated like kings.
Absolutely.
And, very impressed with everybody, top to bottom. They have just been outstanding.
And Bill Dowling, Coleman Levy, the staff, everybody has worked hard, and they make it very comfortable for the people. And they deserve a big round of applause. Our Sprint PCS pitching change, that's Dave Gassner, a Boilermaker from the New Haven Ravens, on in relief.
Andy Machado is at the plate, shortstop from the Reading Phillies.
And the league leader in stolen bases. Gassner, by the way, is 6'2", 190 pounds, 24 years of age, out of Hortonville, Wisconsin.
Good off-speed pitch. Machado out front for the strikeout.
A long walk back to the dugout for Machado. Gassner was a 24th pick of the Toronto Blue Jays organization in the June 2001 draft. Out of Purdue University is Jeremy Ware of the Harrisburg Senators. Gets the chance to bat now, Glenn.
Ware in the second position in the order, replacing Grady Sizemore, who went 1 for 2 with a walk. We're in the top of the 8th inning. There's a hot smash hit right towards short. Fielding it there is Basak, and he flips on to Freire at first for the out.
So right now the story is just opposite of what some thought it would be. The pitching from the north is dominated. As you look at the record crowd at New Britain Stadium of 7,168, the most people to ever watch a game at New Britain Stadium, which opened in 1996. And there's not a bad seat in this ballpark as the folks are enjoying tonight's Eastern League All-Star game, the first EL All-Star game since 1990. And now how about this? Stu Cliburn is on to have a word with Gassner and also catcher Guillermo, and he's going to go to the bullpen, Glenn, just so that more pitchers can get in the game.
I think he wants just their time. What do you think?
Could be. He deserves it. He's one of the best pitching coaches in all of baseball, and maybe he'll get a shot coaching in the big leagues someday.
Well, I don't know if the fans at home can tell, but the pitching coach here tonight, of course, from the New Britain Rockcats, is the twin brother of course, the manager from the Rockcats, Stu and Stan Cliburn. Stu is the pitching coach. Stan is the manager. And if you look right at him, you really can't tell. And let's go downstairs to Rich.
All right, I'm with Stu's brother, Stan. Stan, I think what we saw earlier in this game, Rabe, a leadoff walk, steals second, goes to third on a fly ball, scores on an out. That's the way you like to play the game, manufacture runs, but in short, be aggressive.
Yeah, no doubt. And I told the guys before this All-Star game tonight, you put the uniform on, you play to win. And I said, stay aggressive. You want to steal bases, let's steal them. Move guys over, do all the fundamentals, and that wins ball games. And so far, so good.
In the first half, your club started kind of slow, really came on as the first half wore on. It's really anyone's game in the North Division.
No doubt. That division stacked up like it was last year. I think August 6th last year, we were in first place with a 4-team race. And this year, we're only 3 games out, or 4 games out of a playoff spot. And, you know, it's going to stack up again the same way. We made some personnel changes and reeled off 15 out of 18, played very well, and we're looking for the second half and after the All-Star break to get after it for the next 6-7 weeks.
This is your 3rd year here. We've talked much tonight about Coleman Levy and Bill and what they've done, the ownership group here. As a manager, what has that meant to you and the players?
Well, no doubt, class organization. Bill Dowling, Coleman Levy done a great job promoting this ball club when they bought it. And they brought me up here to manage a club and have done nothing but treat me nice. The players, the fans, everybody's done a terrific job. And, you know, they gave me a curtain call here the other night when I broke the record for the all-time winningest manager in wins up here. So just a great organization. I'm glad to work for them, and the Minnesota Twins.
Thanks, Skip. Congratulations on the record.
Thank you.
Let's go back upstairs.
All right, thanks, Rich. And there you see the numbers of the new pitcher, Kevin Vent, and talking about the effort that Stan Cliburn has done. The word in baseball in regards to his ability as a manager now growing more and more. And you and I, when we were talking with him yesterday at length, he said, well, I'm hoping to get a shot up, if not here with the Minnesota organization, but he is very close to Ron Gardenhire and his staff. There's a fly hit to right. No one will get that. One hop off the wall as Noah Hall will cruise into second with a 2-out double. But you know, you talk about the players, obviously their goal is to get to the major leagues. The coaches as well, some of them, might want to be a manager or pitching coach, but some might want to get into the front office of a club. But Stan wants obviously to manage in the majors. Stu wants to be a pitching coach in the majors, and the Minnesota organization very high on both of them.
Well, they should be, as Hall shows some power to the opposite field against Vent. I've been around a lot of managers, Glenn, and Stan Cliburn is the entire package. He is as good as any manager as far as feeling the pulse of his clubhouse, understanding the chemistry of his clubhouse. And when he mentioned to Rich earlier that at the start of the season he had some concerns, he addressed those concerns, and I can tell you it is a much better clubhouse now than earlier in the season, and it's because Stan was on top of things right from the beginning. So he understands his clubhouse. Strategically, he's a very good manager. He likes to gamble, and he's also very good with the media. He has all the ingredients necessary, in my opinion, to be a good big league manager someday. And if he doesn't get that shot, at least to be a coach. And the same thing goes for Brad Kaminsk, the manager of the Southern Division All-Stars, who has done an outstanding job at every stop he's made in the minor leagues. Brad has really worked hard to get in position to someday be, if not a big league manager, maybe a third base coach. But both managers in tonight's game have worked very hard, and it's not easy. They show up early in the day. You know, you think you just show up and manage a ball game and then go home. Not even close. They have to file reports. They're constantly in touch with the big league front office. It is almost a 24-hour job.
You bet. Chan Perry is at the plate and the DH all night. He is 0 for 3. Did reach on an error leading off the 4th and came in to score on a wild pitch. 2-2 pitch. Lifted to center field, moving to his right. And making the grab for the out And that retires the side. We have played 7.5 here in Connecticut. Northern Division on top.
And now to liven up the night shift, Shakira.
Attention, I don't wanna be the exception. Get a bit of your attention. Love you for free and I love your mother. But you don't even bother. Attention, control.
There are like 3 types of golfers at the GHO. You know, you got your arm raisers. Ah! There's also a lot of arm pumpers these days. Maybe too many arm pumpers, but the best are the cap tippers. They're so cool and so suave. I would definitely be a cap tipper. I just have to break 100 first. Will I be there for the GHO? What do you think?
The 2003 Eastern League All-Star Game has been brought to you by Pizza Hut, proud to sponsor the 2003 Eastern League All-Star Game. By the 2003 Greater Hartford Open, July 21st to the 27th. For information, visit ghogolf.com. And by Webster. At Webster, we find a way. Banking, insurance, investments. And by the National Baseball Hall of Fame, preserving history, honoring excellence, connecting generations.
Glenn Conticallo, Dan Lovallo, Rich Coppola back here at New Britain Stadium in New Britain, Connecticut. And Gene Michael, the executives for the Yankees, a good friend of Bill Dowling, the vice president and general manager here in New Britain, told Bill that this stadium is like a mini Camden Yards. He loves it here in New Britain. He's been here a couple of times.
He sure has.
We've got another call to the bullpen, brought to you by Sprint PCS.
That's left-hander Mike Johnston from the Altoona Curve, AA affiliate of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Good numbers with that 5-1 mark, 3 saves and 1.81 ERA. He is the 20th pick of the Pirates in the June 1998 draft. A 6'3", 190-pound, 24-year-old southpaw. He was born in Philadelphia, now lives in Colwyn, Pennsylvania, and pitches for the Pirates' AA affiliate.
Well, he's got some giddy up on his fastball. He said he's been topped out at 96 miles per hour. We'll see what he does here, especially against this batter, Alexis Rios, who has really been very solid tonight. 3 for 3 with a double and 2 runs batted in.
Well, he's got game MVP numbers, that's for sure. You know, you mentioned the president and general manager and one of the owners of the Rockcats, Bill Dowling, and his friendship with Gene Michael. Bill, at one time, was the vice president of the New York Yankees under George Steinbrenner. Worked for the Yanks for 3 years in the late 1980s. And he's learned a lot from George Steinbrenner, including how to manage a stadium and keep it clean and keep it pristine looking. Steinbrenner is a stickler for appearance, and a lot of that Bill Dowling has assumed in his leadership as president and co-owner of the New Britain Rockcats.
Well, you know, Steinbrenner does get a bad rap from a lot of people, but I think a lot of that is built up because of jealousy, because the guy seems to run organizations that succeed, and those that don't seem to point of fingers a lot. There you see the batting average leaders, brought to you by the GHO, and Rios leading the Eastern League. That one almost hit him. But getting back to George Steinbrenner, I mean, you and I were joking before the game. I mean, when you play a game of Monopoly, and if I've got all the money and I keep buying up the houses, you're going to get mad at me because I've got the money to buy up the houses. Well, that's why I'm winning the game.
The rules are there for everybody, and he's just following the rules.
Right.
You know, Glenn, there are ball clubs which have spent money and haven't contended. Just because you have the money doesn't necessarily mean it's an automatic bid to the World Series. You still have to win the games and still clinch your division and then go through what is a difficult playoff system and then make it to the World Series and hope to win that.
3-2 pitch, and Rios is retired for the first time tonight as he swings through a high fastball from Mike Johnston.
That fastball you were talking about, and he came right at the right-handed batter. And a big rip, but no contact by Rios. You know, the Altoona Curve have a lot of prospects that could someday be performing for the Pittsburgh Pirates as we look at minor league veteran Alejandro Freire. I know the Pirates are struggling some, but they're not totally out of contention in the National League Central, and they recently awarded their manager, Lloyd McClendon, a contract extension, and some of these players could be joining Pittsburgh soon. So that franchise, which has a beautiful ballpark in downtown Pittsburgh, could be turning things around shortly. It takes time to build an organization, Glenn. It doesn't happen overnight, and fans just need to have that patience.
Dan, I know you spent time at the AAA level in Richmond a few years back, and now obviously here you're doing radio for the Rockets at the AA level. But are you noticing that more and more players are getting up to the majors? I'm not saying going directly from AA, but the time they leave the AA level to get to the major leagues is a lot shorter now, right? Because it used to always be, well, if you're AAA, you're almost there. But now it's more in AA, and if you succeed there, you can make that quick jump.
Well, I'll tell you, 2 years ago, the Minnesota Twins on 3 occasions sent players from New Britain right to the Minnesota Twins, bypassing AAA. And the other day, the New York Mets called up Jeff Duncan from AA Binghamton and sent him right to the big team. So on occasion, not only is the stay short at AAA for some of these ball players, in some cases they don't even go to AAA. They're being bypassed and going right to the big leagues.
Right. There's a fly hit to right. Hall going back. He'll have to turn and watch it. That one's off the top of the wall. Rounding first is Freire, and he thought about going to second, but a good throw in from deep right field by Hall holds Freire at first with a 1-out single.
We'll have to watch it again. I don't know if Freire thought that ball was leaving the yard, and so he went into his home run shot, I think, as Hall plays it high off the wall. That's what you call your typical long single. Freire now talking to first base coach Ricardo Ingram, who's an interesting story. He's the hitting instructor for the New Britain Rockets in his first year here as hitting instructor. And he played some of the big leagues, but was also a football standout at Georgia Tech. In fact, one year he was a preseason All-America at defensive back, and football was his favorite sport. As we get a look at last night's winner in the home run hitting contest, Brian Myrow. You know, Myrow last night, Glenn, won a fan a trip to the World Series, and not only a trip, but 2 tickets to the World Series and airfare round trip for 2 by winning that home run contest last night. And he came away with a $500 gift certificate. So it was a productive evening in the home run contest for Brian Myrow last night at New Britain Stadium.
Well, he doesn't claim to be a home run hitter. You and I were joking today. But when you win a home run hitting contest, all of a sudden your mindset might change. Hopefully he'll stay focused and not swing for the fences after what he did yesterday.
Although he was quick to praise, as were a lot of other contestants in the contest, as he strikes out there. Josh Rabe of the New Britain Rockets, who in home run derby last night hit one over the scoreboard in left center. That's about 65 feet high. There's a good look at the breaking ball, and that's why managers platoon in games that especially count, because it's awfully difficult for a left-handed batter to hit that curve against a left-handed pitcher. And Glenn, now Brad Comics is going to his bullpen. He's going to make a pitching change here.
And we'll give you that pitching change in just a minute. Again, fans, want to remind you, if you'd like to win a family 4-pack of tickets to go to the National Baseball Hall of Fame, all you need to do is go to glencosports.com and enter your name, and you've got a chance to win a family 4-pack of tickets to see the National Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. Entry deadline is midnight tonight, Eastern Time. Good luck from Glencoe Sports and the National Baseball Hall of Fame.
You know, just for the record, as we look at the Erie Seawolves, Brian Schmack, our Sprint PCS pitching change, just for the record, the last time the Eastern League All-Star game was played in New Britain was back in 1987, and then it wasn't a division versus division. It was the National League Stars against the American League Stars, and the National League won that game 6-0. As we mentioned, Mark Race was one of those who played in that game. Now Brian Schmack, he's 6'2", 190 pounds, 29 years of age, born in Chicago, now lives in Barrington, Illinois. Glenn, he was signed by the White Sox as a non-drafted free agent out of Northern Illinois University, and now he is with his 3rd organization. Also pitched some for the Texas Rangers organization, and is hoping to make it to Detroit. He says the dream still burns. So you ask him, well, why are you still pitching 29 and you've never made it to the big leagues? And he goes, it's the dream. It still burns.
He leads the Eastern League with 23 saves. I asked him how he came to be being a closer, and he said, well, one of my teammates' mother passed away, had to leave the team early in the season, and coach said, hey, you want to close? And ever since then, they can't get him out of that position. As Quiroz bounces up, one pitch, and the inning is retired. We have played 8 here in Connecticut. It's 5-3 Northern Division.
Come in. My favorite pharmacist.
You call, I come.
I'm having trouble with this.
No, it's perfect.
But it feels like it's squeezing and it's...
No, that's why they call it blood pressure. You nervous? It's perfect, Vic. What are you cooking back there?
I'm making pasta vazul and it's delicious.
Listen, I better go because
Wait,
I just came by and
Why don't you sit down and have a plate of pasta?
Your prescription has a number.
Maybe you drop by tomorrow.
But that's not how we treat you at Rite Aid. With us, it's personal.
We're here to learn how to trust our wireless phones, which is hard because we've all been hurt before, haven't we? Johnny? We're accepting that our phones are unreliable, that some features work here and not over there. That's not helping. Try hugging the phone, not choking it.
Okay. Sprint is different. All your services work the same wherever you go on the most complete, all-digital wireless network in the nation.
Like voicemail and email?
Even clear calls. I think we just made a breakthrough.
PCS from Sprint. Try the nation's most complete wireless network.
The 2003 Eastern League All-Star Game has been brought to you by Guida's Milk and Ice Cream, so fresh you can taste the difference. By Datco Transportation, a proud sponsor of the 2003 Eastern League All-Star Game. By the Farmington Marriott, visit them online at farmingtonmarriott.com. Your Marriott awaits. And by PCS Vision from Sprint, clarity you can see and hear.
Glenn Conticallo, Dan Lovallo, Rich Coppola. As we move to the top of the 9th inning. Northern Division holding on to a 5-3 advantage during the 2003 Eastern League All-Star Game. The first time they have played this All-Star Game since 1990, and it's been a good one.
Sean Garrett is going to get a chance to hit against Kevin Vent, who came on in relief in the 8th and is back out there in the 9th, Glenn.
Garrett, a left-handed batter, and try and get on to see if the tying run can come to the plate here against Vent. Vent will probably pitch maybe to one batter here, and then Shepard might mop it up. There's a line drive, base hit to right, so the tying run is on, or rather the first runner is on here tonight, which will bring the tying run to the plate for the Southern Division.
Don't go away yet. Jose Castillo giving his teammates some encouragement. Castillo now coaching first base. Coffey's played the entire game, Glenn.
Yeah. He is 0 for 3.
You know, for those who may not know, at one time New Britain was affiliated with the Boston Red Sox, and among those who came through this city, one Roger Clemens, pitched next door at Beehive Field.
Well, in fact, well, let's take a look at the Marriott play of the game.
And that was Kevin Youkilis of the Portland Sea Dogs at the plate, and he rips it. And how about Coffey going to the top step of the ladder to Spirit? Nice play by the third baseman. There he is batting as the tying run, Glenn, here in the top of the 9th inning.
Well, getting back to Roger Clemens, I was announcing on radio for the New Britain Red Sox back then when Roger came up mid-season, and of course the New Britain franchise went on to win the Eastern League Championship that year, and my claim to fame. In fact, I told Roger about 4 years ago, I was at the stadium, and I said, Roger, I don't know, I'm sure you don't remember me, big guy, but I'm on a baseball that about 2 minutes before I got to sign it, you signed it. A young boy came up to me and said, oh, Mr. Conticallo, would you sign it? I go, me, I'm a nobody. No, go ahead. I said, Roger, I'm on a baseball somewhere with your name on it.
But so some great players have come through New Britain, whether it's the opposition or here, and Roger Clemens. Not many 300-game winners in baseball, but one of them, Roger Clemens, pitched right in this city.
We're playing in the top of the 9th inning here at New Britain Stadium. Northern Division with the 2-run lead, but the tying run is at the plate. Well, both managers have just about gotten everybody into the game.
Yes.
Yep. There's a drive at the right center. No one will get to this one. It will make it to the warning track on a couple of hops. Rounding second is Garrett. The will hold up at third, and now the tying runs are in scoring position on the double to right center by Ivan Coffey.
And suddenly this thing is getting very interesting. As we mentioned, it is far from over as you get a look at Vent's pitch, and that was not a bad pitch. Give Coffey some credit. He went down after that pitch and showed some power by pulling it to the gap in right center, cut off by Rios, and he gets the throw back. And so the relay throw by Kevin Youkilis was enough to keep the runner at third, and there's Coffey down at second base, and he's an important man. He represents the tying run here in the top of the 9th inning. And now a meeting on the mound. Stan Cliburn, the manager of the Northern Division All-Stars, has brought in David Shepard, Glenn, to come on in relief and close the door in the top of the 9th inning against the Southern Division All-Stars.
Shepard, the right-hander from the Trenton Thunder, the Yankee Farm Club, comes in 6-4 on the season, all in relief. 33 appearances, has a 1.71 earned run average, just has not pitched enough innings to get into the league categories, but he would be leading all pitchers with that 1.71 ERA.
He's out of Clemson University, 3rd-round pick of the Cincinnati Reds back in June 1996. The New York Yankees signed him as a free agent in the offseason. And Dave Shepard grew up in Honrell, New York, then moved to Sarasota, Florida, but he grew up a New York Mets fan. And Glenn, I kid you not, you know my schedule working in morning radio. One morning, I'm on my way to work listening to a sports talk program, one of the all-night sports talk shows out of New York City. And who calls the program but Dave Shepard, telling the host he listens to him all the time and says, you've got to understand our hours. We pitch mostly night games, and then you just don't go home. You have to unwind. And so, you know, sometimes we go to bed 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. We also have long bus drives. It's not an easy thing playing at the AA level. And so he likes to listen to the all-night sports talk shows, and lo and behold, there was Dave Shepard one night talking to the host.
Wow. Well, with nobody out here in the top of the 9th, the Southern Division have runners on at 2nd and 3rd. There's Coffey. He just doubled to put runners on at 2nd and 3rd. And we will tell you about the game MVP in just a minute. We're just handed a note.
In the meantime, this ball game is not over yet. As we said, it's 5-3 North, but runners at 2nd and 3rd, and nobody out. Now, we just speculated. You can't obviously draw any conclusions off of one game, but in chatting with Brad Commons yesterday, he said if you look at the stats, the hitting is in the Northern Division, the pitching is in the Southern Division, but until the 9th anyway, the pitching from the North has stopped.
Yeah.
The Southern Division as Mike Fontenot settles in.
Fontenot, a first-round pick, 19th overall for the Orioles back in the 2001 June draft. This is his 2nd at-bat. First at-bat, he bounced out to 2nd. Fontenot was the Eastern League MVP for the month of June. He hit .380 with 7 doubles, 2 triples, 3 home runs, and 21 runs batted in. He had a .416 on-base percentage in the month of June. His slugging percentage was .598 in the 25 games.
And pretty good split that time by Dave Shepard, who's been asked to do a big job here by his all-star manager, Stan Cliburn.
Shepard told me yesterday, I talked to all the pitchers and talking about the type of pitches they throw, and I said to Dave, okay, what's your best pitch? And amongst the pitches, he throws the fast, curve, slider, and change. He looked at me and said, honestly, my curveball and my slider are my best pitches. I'll go to either one of those two to strike somebody out. I won't rely on just one pitch.
Well, he's going to have to rely on several here to get out of this mess.
Second and third, nobody out. Here's the 1-2. Fouled away by Fontenot. Earlier this month, Fontenot set a new Basak team record by reaching base safely in 43 consecutive games. So he's a scrapper at the plate.
Well, that on-base percentage, certainly an indication that he's got a good eye. That's the latest stat. That's the stat that certain general managers love, on-base percentage.
There's the 1-2. Bouncer hit up the middle to his right. Second baseman Youkilis. He'll throw out the first for the out, but a run scores. That was Garrett from third. Coffey moves up to third on the RBI bounce out. So now it's a one-run game. The Southern Division tying run just 90 feet away with one out here in the ninth.
Brett Comets talking to Coffey, reminding him of the situation, and that man is in a mess still because the tying run is 90 feet from the plate, as you said. This all-star game is going right down to the wire.
Well, Gonzalez will bat, and he has played the entire game, and the Northern Division, Dan, pulling the infield in.
As they should.
First pitch is line over the shortstop's head. Basak into left field, and that will drive in the tying run. The RBI single by Luis Gonzalez.
Now that means there will be a last of the ninth. Let's see if the shortstop might have been able to catch that ball if the infield were playing back. And pitch out over the plate. Gonzalez watching it. And so is Shepard. I don't know. I think it might have been catchable if the infield were playing back. But in that situation, most managers are going to play the infield in.
Max St. Pierre now will bat, the Erie catcher.
This has been a nice comeback by the Southern Division.
You bet. Tied at 5 now. Now the runner from first starts towards second. Gonzalez now in a rundown. There's the toss and the tag for the out. So Gonzalez, who was the potential lead run, is officially caught stealing. He just took off a bit too early and was trying to time the delivery by Shepard and mistimed it badly.
Well, Brad Comets was trying to get that go-ahead run into scoring position. Kevin Youkilis applying the tag. There's Youkilis. Second base is in his position, and tonight he's handled 7 chances, 2 putouts, and 5 assists. And as a former manager of the Kinston Blue Jays once told me, and he was a pretty good player with the Minnesota Twins, Ron Clark, when you put a player in another position, somehow or another that ball's going to find you. And it's found Kevin Youkilis tonight, but he has acquitted himself quite well at second base.
2 out now here in the top of the ninth for the Southern Division. They have tied the game.
That man, by the way, Glenn, is reported to be the player that a lot of teams want when talking trade with the Red Sox. There is the thought that the Red Sox will trade for some more pitching, and Kevin's name always comes up as the player the other team wants in return.
Well, that's good to see that Theo Epstein is not going to pull the trigger on something like that. Obviously, the Red Sox have a history of making deals before the trading deadline to help them out towards the playoffs. And yeah, they remember the Bagwell situation. Again, at the time of trade, you never know. Hindsight's 20/20 right there.
And it's new ownership now. They're taking a different approach.
There's a bouncer to short. Basak feels a tough hop, throws on the first. That retires a side, but 2 very big runs come in to tie the game on a couple of hits. We move to the bottom of the ninth, tied at 5.
Guider's Super Solos come in a variety of delicious flavors. And because they're delivered from your local Guider's dairy, they're always extra fresh, extra tasty.
Come on.
Guida's Super Fresh Super Solos, the single best drink in America. You should get your hands on one, or at least try.
Come on, rock, let's rock this house tonight. These cats rock.
Catch the excitement of Rockcats baseball at New Britain Stadium with the future stars of the major leagues today. Be part of the action and family fun when the Rockcats battle their Eastern League rivals. For tickets or more information, call 860-224-8383 or visit us online at rockcats.com. Rockcats baseball, always a rockin' good time.
Rockcats baseball rocks. These cats rock.
There's a place in Cooperstown, New York, where memories come to life.
Would you believe that? Well, this guy's in another world.
Where moments become memories, the Baseball Hall of Fame at Cooperstown.
There you see Luis Gonzalez has played the entire game, first baseman from Akron, and he got the big hit to tie the game on the drawn-in infield. And not sure if we can see it here, whether or not. It looks like it gets off the end of his bat, sort of a humpback liner, but with the infield in, no shot to make a catch of that hit into shallow left, and that tied the game at 5.
And there's the man of the moment right now. Fans should know this game will not go past 10 innings. I mean, both clubs have used up all of their pitching, so it won't go past 10 innings, but we're tied in the last of the 9th, Glenn.
So a dramatic finish to this first Eastern League All-Star game in 13 years. Basak is at the plate. Of course, Bartlett started at shortstop. This is the second at-bat for Craig Basak. He struck out in his first at-bat with the Binghamton Mets. And another good fastball swung at and missed.
Well, if you're a member of the New York Mets organization, these are good days from the following perspective. The Mets obviously are now rebuilding. They're going to bring up players from their farm system instead of going out and signing free agents. And so that offers hope to a lot of players at the minor league level in their organization.
The ball lifted foul right to the side. That'll make the seats.
And you know, Glenn, Gary LaRocque, who was a graduate of the University of Hartford and is from these parts, is an assistant general manager in charge of scouting with the New York Mets. And he comes to New Britain Stadium on occasion, and he said, you know, it takes time. You just don't build an organization's farm system overnight. It takes a few years. Of course, in New York, perhaps the #1 baseball market in the country, along with Boston, fans have a tendency to be impatient. But to build a solid foundation, you're going to have to be patient because it's going to take time.
Well, Schmack is back out there again here in the bottom of the 9th inning for the Southern Division All-Stars. And I do not believe there is another pitcher in the bullpen that is available. There's a pitch just missing the outside corner. So a leadoff walk for Craig Basak. And we'll see if Stan Cliburn plays little ball here and tries to bunt the potential winning run up to second.
Well, the book says you do. When you're the home team, you bunt in this situation, tie game, last of the 9th inning. There's Ricardo Ingram, first base coach and hitting instructor of the New Britain Rockcats, talking things over with Chris Basak, the runner at first base. And Brian Schmack is suddenly in a bit of a jam. We'll see if Kevin Youkilis is called down to bunt.
Coffey shortening up a bit at third, expecting the bunt. No, he's swinging away, and he takes the pitch for a ball. Here's the 1-0. Another pitch high, throw down at first, a quick throw, but Basak able to get back.
You know, Max St. Pierre has a great arm, and St. Pierre the other day in a game against the New Britain Rockcats in a key situation picked Josh Rabe off first base. And there was a snap throw to first. Basak just getting back ahead of the tag by Gonzalez.
And there's ball 3. So now 3-0.
And you know, we've been advertising Youkilis and the way he works the count, except tonight playing in the All-Star game, he's been up there swinging, not running many deep counts, but now in a game-like situation with the winning run at first, he's done an outstanding job of working the count to 3-0.
And there's ball 4, Dan, so he works the base on balls. And the potential winning run now is at second base. Nobody out. Jeremy Owens is due up.
Jeremy Owens was originally a product of the San Diego Padres, but was taken by the Red Sox in the Rule 5 draft, and his stock has really risen in the organization as you look at the Southern Division All-Stars. In fact, Dwight Evans, who was a minor league instructor in the Red Sox organization, recently passed through Portland. And Evans, who was not one for giving out praise easily, had a lot of good things to say about Jeremy Owens.
And he's squaring to bunt, and he drops down a beauty. Off the mound is Schmack, throws the first for the out. But a beautiful sacrifice dropped down by Jeremy Owens.
Well, you can understand why Jeremy Owens is drawing some praise. This is how you execute a bunt, boys and girls. He squares. He's got a good pitch to bunt it off speed pitch, but that was perfect. And Schmack had only one play and just got Owens. So, look at this. He squares and deadens the ball. And look at him hustle down the first base line.
Yeah, what do you do here, Dan? Do you walk the bases loaded to try and obviously set up a force out at home?
Yes.
And that's what they're going to do. They're going to walk John Ford Griffin intentionally.
You're not going to let the man who was second in the Eastern League in runs batted in with 71 beat you. Play the percentages, even though Terry Tiffey is due up next. He's a switch hitter, but at least you'll have a force at any base. It's amazing, Glenn. The Northern Division hasn't gotten the ball out of the infield here in the last of the 9th inning, and suddenly the bases are loaded. That's Basak, the runner at third base. Kevin Youkilis, the runner at second base. And the man at first, John Ford Griffin. And now Terry Tiffey of the New Britain Rockcats has a chance to win it for the Northern Division in his own ballpark.
Well, he's been in these type of situations before. You talked about it earlier in the game with that contest they have here, promotion, getting the 9 runs with the pressure on to help out the fans. Well, the pressure's on here for him.
Well, all the Rockcats and the Northern Division need is a base hit. But wouldn't it be something if he had a grand slam, that everybody in this record crowd of 7,168 would go home with an ice cream? So here's Terry up in another ice cream situation.
I get an ice cream too, Dan?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to start clapping too then.
Yeah, start clapping, Glenn.
0-1 the count on Tiffey. Here's the pitch. Bouncer hit to right field with a base hit, and that will end it. As Basak comes in to score on the RBI single by Terry Tiffey. And what a great finish to this 2003 Eastern League All-Star game, Dan.
And how fitting that it's a New Britain Rockcat who wins it here at New Britain Stadium tonight, and now Terry getting congratulations from his teammates and the fans here at New Britain Stadium, part of the record crowd of 7,168. Love it as the Northern Division beats the Southern Division 6-5.
All right, we'll take a break, come back, and hear from our player of the game right after this.
My mommy has multiple sclerosis. Multiple sclerosis.
If you think it's hard to say, imagine living with the debilitating effects of multiple sclerosis. There's no cure, but there is help. We're the National Multiple Sclerosis Society.
I don't mind this dreary light dressing on my salad, or my dull light potato chips. But light radio? Now that's really boring.
The River 105.9. Ad-work radio that's never boring.
I was born in a small town. Little man, brown-eyed girl. I'm gonna soak up the sun.
River, 105.9.
Definitely not boring.
Six to 5, the North wins it. Terry Tiffy driving in the winning run, and kind of apropos, a member of the Rockettes. And boy, when you were selected to the team, did you think about a situation like this where you come to bat with the winning run on base?
No, not really. You know, I just was coming out here to have a good time, you know, and have the camaraderie of all the players, you know, and wasn't really, I mean, it didn't really matter who was going to win. So, you know, but, you know, baseball's baseball, and it comes down to those situations, you have to step up.
We're going to look at the winning hit. You're hitting .310 with runners in scoring position. You're just looking to hit the ball hard somewhere right now, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty much just looking to hit the ball hard, you know, and we'd face the guy. Just got done with Bowie the series and faced him three consecutive nights, so we pretty much knew what he had. You know, I was just looking for a decent pitch to hit, and he gave me one, so that's about it.
How about the second half for your team? You came on late in the first half. North Division's up for grabs, right?
Yeah, it's definitely up for grabs. You know, we definitely stepped it up. You know, we struggled at first, but, you know, we had a good team, and we, you know, we stepped it up when we needed to, and now we're in the hunt, so that's good.
Good luck in the second half. Congratulations on tonight.
Thanks.
All right, Terry Tiffy, the player of the game, drives in the winning run for the North. He is the player of the game. Let's go upstairs to Glenn.
All right. Thanks, Rich. The 2003 Eastern League All-Star Game has been produced by Jim Dodonna and directed by Tom Clark. Remote production facilities provided by CSP Productions. This has been a presentation of Glencoe Sports, copyright 2003 by the Britain Rockettes, the Eastern League, and the National Association of Professional Baseball Leagues. For Rich Coppola, Dan Lovallo, I'm Glenn Conticallo. Thanks for watching. Good night, everybody.